What's up guys, my name is Mike of Koei Gaming, and I have some updates to share with all of you regarding Hatsune Miku Project Diva Future Tone on PS4. A little bit of a warning right before I get into it. A lot of this news is somewhat old, and you might have seen it already. However, I have not seen too many videos on YouTube address all of these great updates at one time. So why don't we get started? The first thing that I want to share with you guys is we now know that Project Diva Future Tone will run at 1080p and 60 frames per second on the PS4. This right out of the gate is fantastic news. For anyone who doesn't know, the PS Vita versions of the last two Project Divas ran at 30 frames per second, and if you ask me, that's perfectly fine. Honestly, for any handheld to be hitting 30 frames per second this day and age, that's pretty impressive, especially a rhythm game where pinpoint accuracy is required. However, when those games were making their way over to the PS3, not so much. You really start to notice a lot quicker that the game is only running at 30 frames per second on PS3. Once again, for a rhythm game that's being played on a TV and not a handheld, now we're running into some problems. Especially because between a controller to a console, there is slightly more input delay than on a handheld. That's just the way these things are made. However, we don't need to worry about that in the slightest for Project Diva Future Tone. Not only will it run native 1080p, but it will also run at 60 frames per second on the PS4, just like the arcade game. That's not the only update, however, that I want to share with you. There is some other stuff, and this next one is really exciting. During Sega's panel at the 2015 Tokyo Game Show, Project Diva series supervisor Utsumi Hiroshi stated that the PS4 version of Arcade Future Tone would have a package showing chivalrous spirit. Your guess is as good as mine as to what that actually means. However, he has hinted that it's a gift towards the fans for all of their support. Now, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this means that every single song from the arcade game is going to appear on the PS4. I mean, wouldn't that be the smartest thing to do? You're bringing the arcade game over to the PS4 and saying that this is a gift to the fans for all their support. I mean, they're not going to give us a gimped version that only has, a fraction of the songs. They may as well go all out and give us all of the songs. As of right now, I believe there are close to 215 songs in Project Diva Arcade. That is a ridiculously huge set list for any rhythm game, let alone a rhythm game that features Hatsune Miku, one of the biggest cultural icons in Japan and slowly making her way over to the United States. Now, with that said, there's always new songs being added to Project Diva Arcade, so the question is, are those songs going to be added later as DLC for the PS4 version? I imagine, yes. I imagine they will be. There doesn't seem to be much of a reason as to why they would not do that. However, the last update, and this is the one that I personally am the most excited about, because I have a little bit of suggestion that I'd like to throw in. Hiroshi also said that playing the game with a PS4 controller might be a little bit difficult at times, and the main reason for that is because of the fact that the arcade game uses a very specific layout of buttons. 4 big plastic buttons that are laid out horizontally. I'll show a picture of them right now. You have to tap these buttons one at a time while playing, or sometimes you have to press multiple, and other times you have to press all 4 at once. Now, with having 2 hands to just tap 2 with each hand, that's no problem. The problem is if you were to put that on a PS4 controller where all the buttons are really close and you basically have one thumb to do it, unless you want to rest the palm of your hand against the controller, it's just not going to work. They need to find a better way to do it. Now, this hints at, once again, it doesn't confirm it, but it hints at an arcade controller being made for the release of Project Diva Future Tone on PS4. I mean, let's think about this. If they were to make an arcade controller, Hori would probably make it, an arcade controller that you could buy for the PS4 version of Project Diva Arcade, all they'd have to do is take those 4 buttons, the touch slider on top, and maybe a couple directional buttons on the left and right side, and there you go. Include a headphone jack at the bottom, just like the arcade version has. There you go. That right there is how you would make the game as authentic as possible for the players at home. I mean, this is perfect. And I don't really think it's too much to ask for Sega to have Hori make an arcade controller for them. I mean, they've done it before! As of right now, we don't have a definite release date for Project Diva Future Tone. However, what we do know is that it's being released sometime after the next Project Diva game, Project Diva Cross on PlayStation Vita. Now, that game releases on March 24th, 2016. There is also a PS4 version of Project Diva Cross, which is due out later in 2016. Now, I'm gonna guess that they're gonna release Future Tone between the Vita version and the PS4 version. They said that they don't want the players to get tired of it, so by releasing, 1, 2, 1 in that formation, releasing the games that way, it allows the players to always be playing something fresh, and then when they sell them the PS4 version, it's fresh once again, because it's got a bunch of songs that the arcade version does not have. But once again, those songs can then be ported over to the arcade version, and then the fans can buy those too. One last update. In the last video that I made talking about the announcement of Project Diva Future Tone on PS4, I said that you'd be able to import the game if it never made it to the United States. Now, since then, we have gotten a little bit of news regarding this. The game is going to be download only. There will be no retail disc, download only on the Japanese PSN. Now, if you're wondering then how you're supposed to get it, all you need to do is make another user account on your PS4 and sign it up for PSN. When you sign it up for PSN, just say that you live in Japan. You will automatically be loaded with the PlayStation Store from Japan. From there, you'll be able to buy a yen code off of PlayAsia.com, enter the code into PSN, and use those digital funds to pay for the game, and there you go. You have the game now. So don't worry, even if the game launches only in Japan and only on the PSN, we will all still be able to play it whether you're in the United States, Canada, or wherever you may live. Those are all the updates I have regarding Project Diva at the moment. If there's anything else that appears, I'll be sure to tell you guys about it. As of right now, Project Diva Future Tone on PS4 is shaping up to be the definitive version of Project Diva, and there is not a doubt in my mind that the game is going to receive rave reviews when it launches on PS4 sometime next year. If you like what you've seen, please make sure to check out the rest of Coed Gaming, and definitely make sure to check out the rest of my videos talking about Project Diva. Until then, my name is Mike from Coed Gaming, and I'm like a broken Xbox. I don't play no games with this shit. Take it easy. What's up guys, thanks so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed that video. If you haven't gotten a chance to already, make sure to check out last week's video, which can be found right here. Also, if you haven't gotten a chance to already, make sure to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. And while you're at it, make sure to check out the rest of Coed Gaming, where we upload gaming videos every single week. And as always, game on.